It's a lot of things our people just don't know. As one of the people who are an overseer of the house of Zion, the house of Yashariah, I find it very, I find it very children of Israelish when our people don't consider information. Yeah, and when we don't consider certain information, what happens is you're still in Babylon. And what I mean by Babylon, I don't mean the actual place. I don't mean like mystery Babylon. I mean mental Babylon, right? Mental Babylon is our greatest downfall. And what I mean by that is the children of Israel, right? The children of Yashariah, when they left Egypt and they had to go through the wilderness for that 40 years, the reason why they stayed in the wilderness so long is because of the fight, right? Why I say fight? Because they fought with Masha. They fought with him. They contended with him, right? And what I mean by they contended with him, he struggled with them to get them to see the salvation, right? And anybody who knows and really studies the scriptures will know that we're dealing with the same thing today. You may not like the fact that somebody comes with certain information and, you know, that information goes against what you have been taught. Or even when you come into the truth, you learn the truth a certain way. You learn things a certain way, right? But there's always an order, okay? It's always an order. And the order that we're supposed to learn in is his order, right? And I find it very enlightening when you learn this order, right? Now, how I learned was that I had to pretty much learn terms and titles. That was a big thing. Okay. Terms and titles are important. Words are important. Words have meaning. Words are not just important and have meaning, they're also spiritual. Okay. Now, we use certain terms and titles, right? That was never accepted by any of our patriarchs. Okay. And when I mean any of our patriarchs, I'm talking about going all the way even from Adam, right? Adam, Masha, uh, Yahweh Shai, which who they say is Joseph, right? Well, not Joseph, Joshua, correction. And Even when we look at Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, you see they had a certain understanding. They had a certain mindset, right? And the whole reason for Abraham leaving or Ar, which is really an A, it's not a U, this what R, right? The reason why he left there is because of the God worship that was going on there, right? And this God worship is still prevalent today among our people. Yeah, just hear me. Just hear me out. This God worship is damaging. It's damaging to the Hebraic mindset. It's damaging to the pure worship of Yah, right? And when we learn to subtract those things, then we get a more refined worship. We get a more refined place of shalom, right? We get a more refined worship. And when we get to this point, my bad for the wind noise. When we get to this point, it's supposed to be a moment of growth, and it's supposed to be a time of growth. Okay, and what came to me was those who grow will go. Yeah, that's right. Those who grow will go. And when I mean when I mean grow, I mean grow in wisdom, knowledge, also in understanding, right? But in order to reach understanding, first you have to get the knowledge and apply it. Okay. And then you gain wisdom to understand something. Okay. So when we finally understand something, it's like it's a light cut on. A light bulb cuts on. And when this light bulb cuts on, it's supposed to it's supposed to shine on to others. Okay. And there's so many people. I'm not gonna get into names and all that, but there's so many people that say they know, right? But knowing is knowledge. Not everyone has true knowledge because all true knowledge, wisdom, and understanding starts with the name of our Father who is in heaven. And that name is Yahweh, right? Yah means he. Hawa means exists. So when you put it together, you get he exists, right? Which is the Father's name. Okay. And this name is supposed to lead you down a path of perfection. Okay. Hamashiach said, be ye perfect. I am perfect. King James wording is very, no. But anyway, we have been taught certain things that are not right. And when we learn of the things that are not right, okay, when we learn these things, we have to do away with them. Got to get rid of them completely and entirety, completely in their entirety and its entirety, right? We have to get back to a place of our pure roots, okay? And I know, a lot of people that are coming into the truth, that are actually knowing who they are and whose we are, in the words of a brother, right? Uh, we learn, we start trying to pick up Hebrew, okay? And when you start picking up Hebrew, you're going to automatically, by default, go into modern Hebrew, okay? But there was a series of things that these people have done to our language, right? That polluted the language, that polluted the pure language, right? Now, I say that to say there's no J in Hebrew whatsoever. Any of these letters I'm about to mention, they don't exist in the ancient Hebrew, right? J, E, O, U, C, and V. The letter V don't exist, okay? And you really start to understand this when you start studying the matres lectionis. What's up, puppy? Oh, it's all right. So when you start learning the matres lectionis, the matres lectionis is a form of Hebrew that the Greeks, Romans tampered with. Okay, they took certain consonants and doubled them up to make them vowels. Okay, and this is where we get E, O, and U from. Okay, and then that was it was furthered. Okay, that evolved into the Masoretic text. And the Masoretic text is when you get the Nakud, right? The little dot and dash and the little vowel points over the modern Hebrew, right? Really, that's not Hebrew. That's Syriac block script. Okay. That's not Hebrew. Okay. That's number one. Number two, when you study the early languages, right? Hebrew was originally written with no vowels, okay? But there was a vowel, right? And that vowel was the letter A. If you look into the Sanskrit language, you'll see that the letter A was the vowel, okay? Now, and there's many other things too. It's so many other things. I can't get to them all right now. I'll probably have to make another video later, but this is my address to the house of Yasharayim, or who you say Israel. Some say Yasharal, right? Now, I know certain of our people, certain of our people have came across the name, which really is a title, but it's also a name. It's a name of a Canaanite deity. A Canaanite deity. Okay? And this Canaanite deity, his name was El. E-L. Okay? And El, E-L, that's the singular form. Okay? Which translates into the English language as God, which God comes from the Germanic. It comes from the Germanic languages, and it's really Gott, right? Gott. It's an easy etymological search you can do. It's a science behind it, but it's easy once you get down to the nitty gritty, right? And El being a singular form, it has a plural form, right? And this plural form is Elohim, which means gods, multiple, okay? In the ancient Hebrew, that would be Yam, Y-A-M, which is a multiple, a multiplier, okay? So when you see these multipliers, that's meaning more than one. What's up, puppy? So when people use the word or say the name Elohim, you're really saying gods, right? But here's a fun fact, and you can fact check this. You can search this up, right? Uh, Strong's Exhaustive Concordance Greek Dictionary, which actually it ties back to H420, which is the word El, right? But for what is it? G1140 and G1142. Okay, and this is in Brown Drivers and Briggs. This is in the Thyers. This is in it's in the Hebrew Language Restored. It's in the Analytical Hebrew. It's everywhere, right? It's in every Bible dictionary, every lexicon, every Bible thesaurus you can find. Okay, and when you look at this term, right, and you do the actual history on it, you'll understand that this is a Canaanite word, right? Now let me tell you something about Hebrew. Let me school you something that you may not know. Hebrew has a lot of borrowed words, okay? And those borrowed words have made it into our language, okay? And when I say that, I'm also referring to other words besides Elohim, right? Like Aman. Aman is a borrowed word, which is not originally Hebrew. That's an Egyptian word, right? Now, if we look at the word Aman and we look at the deities that Egypt served, one of the deities that Egypt served was Aman Ra, right? The sun god, okay? And even when you start looking at words that's used in the quote unquote church, right? You see words like Christ. Christ is Sol Invictus. Okay, you can look this up. I suggest you look this up. Anything that I'm saying right now, go look it up. Do the research, right? Because it's going to mean more to you when you see it for yourself. Okay. Now, this word Christ, okay, that's not a Hebrew word. Okay. And to add more understanding to that, when the scriptures were written, from Genesis to Revelation, it was all written in Hebrew. Every last book. Matthew, who you call Matthew, which is Matithya, Yahachanan, uh, Yahachanan Mark, or Marquas, uh, all of those books were written in Hebrew originally. Okay. Now, I'm getting to a point. Just need you to stay with me. I hope you're following along. Stay with me. Now, these words have been put in the text to cover up the true names, the true titles, and the true terms that we should be using, but a lot of us don't know what to use and what not to use, right? And these are, I would say, these are elementary studies, right? When you start getting into etymology and you start looking at the science of words, right? I'm on my nice walk. It's beautiful out here, man. Look, beautiful. But saying all that to say, all of these words that we're using, that's not original Hebrew terms, are damnable. And when I say they're damnable, that means, if we're using words that have no Hebrew essence, okay? I'll say it like that so you can get the understanding of what I'm trying to get at. These words have no Hebrew essence, okay? And when you're using these words, you're invoking demons. Now, I want to go back to the word Elohim, because in G1140 and G1142, Strong's Exhaustive Concordance, God means devil. Devil means God. These two terms and titles are interchangeable. Oh yeah, definitely. They're interchangeable. Like I said, you can look this up for yourself, and you can check this out on your own leisure, right? At your own leisure, you can do the study, and you can see these things for yourself, which I suggest you do, right? Hamashiach never, ever, never, never, ever, never, ever, ever, never use the word Elohim. Only, which this is the exception, when he was talking to the Pharisees. And he told the Pharisees that, did I not say that you are Elohim? Did I not say that you are gods? But when you really understand what he's saying, and you really understand what Elohim means, he was calling them demons. Did he not tell them that your father is of this world, and I am not from this world, but I'm from above? So you have to really get the context of what he's saying, right? This is why I tell my people, get away from that King James. It's poison. It's poison. It's poison, Israel. It's poison, Yasharael. It's poison. We got to get away from it. And when we get away from it and get to a more credible, accurate source, right, you'll see the interpolation and the things that they have done, not only to our language, but to the text itself. Okay. And this is important. This is important. Why? So you can get the true meaning and the true understanding of what's being said. So you can see the full picture. Look, there go a hawk. So you can see the full picture. Okay? And when you see the full picture, you can't unsee it. And not many of us, even those who say that they are called, see it. Because he said, many are called, but few are chosen. And some of us are chosen to see it, not those that are called. Okay? And this is important. Pay attention to what I'm saying. When you means demons or gods, like I said, those two words are interchangeable. Are you still going to double down and use those damnable terms, which came from the Canaanites? Now remember, when the children of Israel went into the promised land, which was Canaan, what did Abba Yah tell us? He said, do not take on the customs of those people. Do not take on the God worship of those people. Do not make marriages with them. Did he not say that? I'm pretty sure he did. But our people being stiff-necked, fighting against what is right and what's righteous, did what they wanted to do anyway, regardless of what was right. And I know this, I know this well because I've had a lot of experiences with my people, right? And when I say my people, I'm talking about the house of Yashariel, the house of Israel. And when I say Israel, I'm not talking about Israeli. I'm talking about the bloodline, true biblical people of the book, right? I'm talking about brown people, because we're not black, brown people, okay? We are some of the most hard-headed and stubborn people that I've ever known. And dealing with my people, dealing with our people, I have learned that, there's always going to be a fight, right? There's always going to be a fight against what's right. There's always going to be a fight against what's true. And like I said, if I say something, don't take me up at it verbatim. Not until you did the research yourself. Look into the things that I'm telling you. Heed them and pay close attention, because this is going to sort of what they have done to us, right? And when I say that, I mean the undoing of the mental hatchery that has been done to us, right? Because they brainwashed us. They brainwashed us. They gave us religion, and then later they gave us the Bible. And I don't like that word Bible, because that's not the word. The book is really called the Book of Yahweh, from cover to cover, from Genesis to Revelations. It's called the Book of Yahweh, right? Now, it's very important to backtrack. It's very important to get the fundamentals right. When you're playing sports, right? When people are practicing and they play sports, they usually have to go back to the fundamentals time and time again, right? And in that practice is repetition. And repetition you learn, right? When we were taught ABCs, we were taught them in repetition. How many times did we have to sing ABC for us to understand and know ABCs? Hear me now. I'm saying all this to get you to a point where you can see it the way that it's supposed to be saw. You can see it the way that it's supposed to be seen. You can understand it the way that it's supposed to be understood. Because when you do this, everything's going to make more sense. Everything. And I'm going to close out. Come back to your natural roots. Get away from the terms and titles. When Mashah was given the charge, he was given the task of retrieving the children of Israel from Egypt, a Mitzrayim, right? He asked, well, they're not going to believe me if I don't tell them who sent me. So they got to know who sent me. So what do I tell them? And what did he say? This is Exodus 3:15, 14 and 15. He said, tell them that Yahweh, the father of their fathers, not the God of their fathers. You don't say that. That's not what the original text says. It says the father of your fathers, the mighty one of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Which that term is Yil Achad. Y-L Achad. A-K-H-A-D. Like I said, there's no C in Hebrew. Okay? And you'll know this once you start doing the etymological studies on a deeper note. Right? Stop studying on a surface level. Go deeper. Go deeper. This is like the man with the field when he found the pearl. He sold all he had and he bought the field. Go deeper. This is like it reminds me of the story of the man who bought some land, and he found out that land was rich with oil. So he started digging in that land. Actually, no, it wasn't oil, it was gold. And he found out that land had gold. And so he started digging, and he found a gold vein. But as he continued to dig, the vein moved, right? Which that does happen. And he kept drilling, but then he got weary. He got weary of drilling because he wasn't getting anything, right? So he stopped. And because he stopped, he sold the land to somebody else, some other guy. And the guy that he sold the land to found out what the other guy was up to. So what he did was he hired a drill team, and that drill team actually went down and drilled 5 more feet, and they actually found gold. This man became very, very rich, right? Become rich. Okay, Shalom.